figure
The
out where
Baltimore Ravens also have a win total of 9.5. However, their over is juiced to 130. Their 2021 record 8-9. Missed the playoffs. They also, like the Bengals, have to get to play the NFC South and the AFC East. And in fact, the Baltimore Ravens will start their season by playing the entire AFC East. They get the Jets on the road in week 1, the Dolphins at home in week 2, the Pats on the road in week 3, the Bills at home in week 4, and then your Cincinnati Bengals. Instead of the Cowboys, they actually get to play at the Giants, play the Browns, at the Buccaneers, and at the Saints before their bye. Oh, my goodness. The Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos. That's a tough part of the Broncos. What are you going to do? At the Steelers, at the Bengals, home against the Falcons, home against the Steelers, at the Bengals, and to close it out after the bye. To me, this on its face looks like a pretty friendly schedule for Baltimore, a team that I think is a good value to win the division, and I really like the over at 9.5 here, given they went 8-9 last year with all of those injuries.
If any other team had dealt with that many injuries, I think they win 5 or 6 games. The fact that the Ravens got to 8 wins despite all those injuries really says a lot about John Harbaugh's coaching ability, about what they're doing. And so this does, I mean, the over feels like a lock. And you hate to say that because if you bet the over last year, you just keep seeing players go down. Lamar missed a few games. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to miss this over because of all these injuries. But assuming everyone stays healthy, not even everyone, assuming 90% of the roster stays healthy and they're not dealing with 112 injuries like they were last year, it just, I like their chances of going 3-1 or maybe even 4-0 against the AFC East because they have the Bills at home. So if you come out of the gate at 4-0, all of a sudden you have a great shot of, you just need 6 more wins.
Let's say they even go 2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, like you win the first 2, then you lose the first 2. Then you have home against the Bengals. I mean, I think that's fair to give that one to the Ravens. It's going to be a close game. Like, it wouldn't be surprising if the Bengals won the game at all. Like, I'm just saying because it's a home game, I'll lean towards the Bengals. I'm going to give them the Giants win, give a win against the Browns, loss to the Bucks, and a win against the Saints. So that's 4-1 plus 2-2. So you're at 6-3 there going into your week 10 bye. I think they win.
And then you just need 4 down the stretch.
Right. I think they win the first 2, Panthers and Jags coming out of the bye. I think the worst case split with the Steelers. So you're at 3, and then you have the Falcons at home. So that's 10 right there with, going 2-2 to start the season and, giving them several losses on the back end. Like with that, Deshaun Watson might not play this season, we don't know how that's all going to play out. So yeah, I love this. This is probably one of my favorite overs.
Yeah, and one thing I do when I look at over-unders is that I don't go, obviously you're trying to pick who they're going to beat on the schedule, but I don't do that with the division games. I lump all the division games together, and I just try to predict what their division record.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you're going to break your head trying to figure out each division game because division games can be unpredictable.
Well, and also, like, if you're looking at the division games, and you're doing this with all the teams, you don't want to go and be like, oh, like the Ravens beat the Bengals in week 5. And then you're like, but the Bengals could beat the Ravens. You don't
right, exactly. And you'll do that more with the division teams than the non-divisional teams. And so I feel like the Ravens they went 1-5 last year, which I think was their worst divisional record under John Harbaugh. They went 4-2 in 2020, 5-1 in 2019 in the division. So I feel like at worst case scenario, 3-3.
3-3 is,
right. And so, boom.
So if you go, let's say this would be super conservative and say you go 2-2 against the AFC East, 3-3 in the division.
And now you're 5-5, and then you just have to go 5.
I mean, 3-1 against the NFC South feels like a freebie.
Yeah.
Right. So then you're 8-6.
And you got to go 2-1 in your bonus 3 games. And, and that's the other thing about this schedule is that their bonus 3 games are much easier than the Bengals bonus 3 games. So when you're trying to pick a division winner, like for instance, the Ravens get to play the Giants, the Bengals play the Cowboys. I'm sure most people would rather play the Giants. The Ravens play the Broncos. The Bengals play the Chiefs. That one's a little bit more even now that Russell Wilson's there. And then obviously you have I don't even know what's the third division. Why can't I think of it?
I know we talked.
Oh, you have Jacksonville.
Yeah.
The Ravens have Jacksonville and the Bengals have the Titans. And obviously you would
That's
much rather play Jacksonville. So like that. So if you think the Bengals are going over, you almost feel like the Ravens are going to go over because their schedule, they just have their 3 different games are just slightly easier.
Arnwell picked the Ravens over on his show when we did win totals. And I think it's a great call. Again, they had 191 adjusted games lost last year, by far, by like 60 games, the most of any team in the NFL. This to me is a stone cold over. All right, let's take a break.
Well, and real quick, you mentioned all those injuries, and you look at some of the games they lost. They had a 1-point loss to the Steelers, a 2-point loss to the Browns, a 1-point loss to the Packers. I think all 3 of those games where they went for 2 on the final play, a 1-point loss to the Rams. So literally 5 of those 9 losses were by 3 points or less, which is just so they easily could have been 13-4.
Everything about their season screams positive regression.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.